Let's talk about revolutions. They are monumental shifts in society, often marked by intense struggle and profound change. But what really ignites these transformative events? They aren't born from isolated incidents, rather, they are the culmination of years, sometimes decades of simmering discontent and systemic inequality. These movements are fueled by deep-seated resentment and a pervasive sense of injustice. The people who rise up are often those who have been marginalized and oppressed for far too long. The French Revolution, for all its drama and chaos, was no different. It was a boiling point reached after years of suffering and neglect. Yes, Marie Antoinette probably never uttered the infamous words, "Let them eat cake," when told of the starving peasants. But the sentiment it reflects? The sentiment of a ruling class completely out of touch with the struggles of the common people? That was very real. That's where the revolution truly began. It was born from the frustration and anger of a populace that had been pushed to its limits. France, in the late 18th century, was a kingdom of stark contrasts. The disparity between the rich and the poor was glaringly obvious. Opulence and extravagance characterized the lives of the aristocracy, who lived in a world of luxury and excess. Meanwhile, the vast majority, the peasantry and burgeoning working class, struggled under the weight of poverty and crippling taxes. Their daily lives were a stark contrast to the lavish lifestyles of the nobility. Imagine a system where your birth determined your destiny, where opportunities were reserved for the privileged few. Your voice silenced simply because you weren't born into privilege. This was the harsh reality for the majority of the population. This was the reality of pre-revolutionary France, a society teetering on the edge of upheaval. It was a powder keg waiting for a spark, and that spark would soon ignite a revolution that would change the course of history. France, under the Bourbon monarchy, was structured around the Estates General, the clergy, the nobility, and everyone else. This system, deeply rooted in medieval traditions, divided society into three distinct classes or estates. The first estate was the clergy, who held significant influence and power, not just in religious matters, but also in political affairs. The second estate was the nobility, a privileged class that enjoyed numerous benefits, including exemption from many taxes. The third estate, however, was a different story altogether. That's right, the entire non-noble, non-clerical population was lumped into one giant third estate. This included everyone from wealthy merchants and professionals to the poorest peasants. Despite their vast numbers, they had the least power and were burdened with the majority of the taxes. In 1789, with France teetering on the brink of bankruptcy, King Louis XVI summoned the Estates General for the first time in over 170 years. This was a desperate move, as the kingdom's finances were in shambles due to years of extravagant spending and costly wars. The goal to address the kingdom's dire financial situation. The hope was that the Estates General could come up with a solution to the financial crisis, perhaps by agreeing to new taxes or other measures to raise revenue. The Third Estate, representing over 98% of the population, saw this as an opportunity. They were determined to use this rare assembly to push for significant reforms and greater representation. They demanded equal representation, arguing that each delegate, not each estate, should have a vote. This was a radical idea at the time, as it would shift the balance of power away from the privileged estates and towards the common people. The nobility and clergy, accustomed to their privileged positions, resisted. They were not willing to give up their traditional advantages, and saw the demands of the Third Estate as a direct threat to their status and power. The stage was set for a showdown, a clash between the old order and the burgeoning desire for change. This confrontation would eventually lead to the French Revolution, a period of radical social and political upheaval that would forever alter the course of French history. July 14, 1789. A date etched in the annals of history, synonymous with rebellion and the dismantling of tyranny. The Bastille, a symbol of royal authority and oppression, stood as a stark reminder of the monarchy's power. Fueled by rumors of royal troops amassing and fearing for their newfound fragile representation, the people of Paris, armed with whatever they could find, stormed the Bastille. This wasn't just about bricks and mortar, it was about dismantling a symbol. The capture of the Bastille, though largely symbolic, it held only a handful of prisoners, sent shockwaves through France and across Europe. The revolution had begun. The French Revolution was a period of radical social and political upheaval, a time when the very fabric of French society was being torn apart and reassembled. The streets of Paris and other cities were filled with fervent crowds, all demanding change and the end of centuries-old injustices. But it was also a time of great violence and bloodshed. The revolutionaries, in their quest for liberty, equality, and fraternity, often found themselves embroiled in brutal conflicts. The streets, once filled with hopeful cries for freedom, echoed with the sounds of battle and the cries of the wounded. The Reign of Terror, a period marked by paranoia and mass executions, cast a long shadow over the revolution's ideals. During this dark chapter, thousands were sent to the guillotine, their lives cut short by the swift, unyielding blade. Fear and suspicion permeated the air, as neighbors turned against neighbors, and the line between friend and foe blurred. King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, symbols of the old regime, were stripped of their power and, ultimately, their lives. Their executions were not just the end of their reign, but a powerful statement that no one, not even royalty, was above the revolutionary law. The guillotine, a chillingly efficient instrument of death, became a symbol of this tumultuous period. Its presence in public squares was a constant reminder of the revolution's capacity for both justice and terror. The blade, descending with cold precision, became an icon of the era's relentless pursuit of change, no matter the cost. While the revolution sought to create a more just and equitable society, the means by which it sometimes pursued these goals remain a subject of debate and reflection. The fervent debates and passionate gatherings of the time were filled with visions of a better future, yet they were also marred by the harsh realities of the methods employed. The Reign of Terror serves as a stark reminder that revolutions, even those fought for noble causes, can be brutal and unforgiving. The aftermath of the battles and the mourning crowds reflect the heavy toll that such a profound transformation can exact on a society. It is a period that continues to provoke thought and discussion, reminding us of the delicate balance between the pursuit of justice and the potential for violence. Section 5. Liberty, Equality, Fraternity. But at what cost? Liberté, égalité, fraternité, liberty, equality, fraternity. The rallying cry of the French Revolution continues to resonate today. The revolution's ideals, enshrined in the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, were nothing short of transformative. Imagine a world where the very notion of individual rights was radical, where the idea that all men are created equal was revolutionary. The French Revolution dared to challenge these long-held assumptions, igniting a firestorm of change that would sweep across Europe and beyond. But the path to achieving these lofty goals was fraught with challenges. The revolution was a messy, complex, and often contradictory affair, marked by both progress and regression. Section 6. The Revolution's Ripples. A world transformed. The French Revolution wasn't merely a French event, it was a seismic shift in global consciousness. The ideas that ignited in the streets of Paris, popular sovereignty, individual rights, and the rejection of absolute monarchy, reverberated across continents. From the Americas, where revolutions in Haiti and Latin America drew inspiration from the French example, to Europe, where the revolution's shockwaves toppled monarchs and sparked nationalist movements, the impact was profound. The world, forever changed, began to grapple with the implications of a simple yet radical idea that power resides not in the hands of kings and queens, but in the hands of the people. Section 7. Legacy of the Revolution, Echoes in Modernity. Even today, centuries after the last guillotine fell silent, the French Revolution continues to shape our world. Open a history book, turn on the news, and you'll see its legacy reflected in the struggles for democracy, equality, and human rights that continue to this day. The French Revolution reminds us that the pursuit of a more just and equitable society is an ongoing process, one that requires constant vigilance, critical thinking, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Section 8. France, Finding its Footing. The French Revolution was a period of immense upheaval, leaving France in a state of flux for years to come. The nation cycled through various forms of government from republic to empire as it grappled with the revolution's legacy. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, though enshrined in the revolution's rhetoric, proved difficult to fully realize. France, like many nations born from revolution, faced the challenge of translating ideals into a functioning and just society. Section 9. The Unfinished Revolution. The French Revolution, for all its triumphs and failures, stands as a testament to the enduring human spirit, the yearning for a better world. It serves as a reminder that revolutions are not finite events but ongoing processes. As we navigate the complexities of our own time, facing challenges that echo those of the past, the lessons of the French Revolution remain as relevant as ever. The quest for liberty, equality, and fraternity is a journey, not a destination. It's a journey that requires courage, compassion, and an unwavering belief in the power of collective action to shape a more just and equitable future.